Hello world, we are the
Brother Floggers!
We are here to tell you what to watch and who to watch with, and if this movie is groovy for you. We invited Benedict Cumberbatch today, but it was strange. He caught a batch of coronavirus and it was too cumbersome to be able to make it today. So he won't be with us, unfortunately.
That was totally unscripted.
We did not memorize that
Nope.
for 10 minutes. We are reviewing today 1917. Now, this is a VidAngel review for you today because, as you know, we don't do rated R movies. We just do family-friendly movies. But VidAngel Filtering Service, we were able to watch it on that. And so we were able to knock out all the swearing, all the violent scenes that we want to, which was really cool because then we could watch this movie. And so this movie stars...
a bunch of different people.
Lots of people. It has a bunch of cameos, but it really stars George MacKay and Dean Charles Chapman.
Oh, Charles Chapman.
So there are a couple of... Charlie Chapman.
Yeah, it's just
Chapman. No.
Charlie Chapman?
Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, that's what Chapman. Never mind.
Actually purposely picked a couple of unknown actors, and then they threw in some cameos. Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, Mark Strong, and a couple others thrown in there. The prince from Cinderella.
The villains from Sherlock Holmes.
Both of them.
Both of them. The series and the movies, yeah. So basically we're following two soldiers as they trek 9 miles across enemy lines to deliver a message to stop ambush from the Germans on a British attack.
And kill 1,600 men.
Yeah, there's 1,600 British people. Although they're all just British, so it's kind of like, well.
Yeah, could have really let this one go.
Yeah,
All right, now we get into the review.
Okay, we finally made it.
So this movie is fantastically filmed. This movie really is about the cinematography. It's a one-shot feel to the movie. It's not the first time it's been done, but this movie took it to a whole new level with the war movie and how they did it. And it's incredible as far as the filming of this movie and why it was recognized with Oscars and everything else.
It's really going to be the hallmark for these long single shots. I think it'll be iconic for that.
Yeah, and it's amazing because how they were able to do it and put everything together. Because they did have cuts, but it doesn't feel like it the entire movie.
No, it feels like it's just one camera, the whole movie just going through.
Just following
They actually had 2 cameras.
Or 3.
Yeah, they did an incredible job on that.
Yeah, and the cinematography is just absolutely beautiful. The filming is incredible. It was the cinematographer was Roger Deakins, who's really been recognized. He's received awards. He's done movies like Skyfall, and he did just a phenomenal job. And they spent months preparing so they could do this thing. They actually had to practice the scenes for 4 months beforehand so they could
just to get it right when they're actually filming. Because there wasn't a lot of room for error on.
Yeah, because they did
for
these
retakes
long
on
takes.
these.
But because of that, I feel like they focus so much on that there's not a lot of depth to this movie. The characters, you don't really get highly invested in the characters. You don't really know much about them. A little bit at the beginning, they talk about their background.
They try and expand a little bit on their background, but it's, I don't know, it almost felt a little bit forced. I thought it wasn't supernatural because it's like, yeah, we're climbing out in enemy territory and like, hey, let's talk about home.
Let's talk about
that. Oh, that's a German.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so it did feel a little bit. The characters were a little flat.
And the story is hyper-focused on this one event, and so you don't really know anything else outside. You don't even really know where they are. But because it follows it like this, by the time I got to the movie, I was like exhausted. I felt like I'd gone through the churches with them.
It is very intense though because of that. Because you feel like you're following behind them, and because of the great filming, you're never really comfortable watching it. You're always like, oh my goodness! Is someone going to come around the corner? And they do these sweeps around, and so you think
so you feel like
something's about to happen. Oh, nothing happened. And oh wait, something happened.
It'd be great for a horror movie. They could have put like goblins and ghosts in this one. It'd been ghosts!
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Because of that, it's just very like exhausting to watch this movie. But at the same time, it makes it a really good war movie because it's very intense. You're really into action.
That's true.
And so it makes it a good war movie. So it's a really good action flick. it's not a movie you should expect to get a lot of depth, but just great to watch visually.
Yeah, it's not quite like Saving Private Ryan or something where you get really invested in the characters and you're like crying at the end.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it almost feels like they wanted to make like Saving Private Ryan, but they just didn't quite.
Didn't quite make it there.
Yeah, they just were a little bit short because they just didn't get into the characters. Saving Private Ryan is just incredible that way because by the time Tom Hanks dies at the end, you're like in tears because it's like you're so
and it's Tom Hanks.
And it's Tom Hanks.
There's a definite timeline on this whole mission, but then it's like slow and you're like just like move the plot. But there's like this long scene where they are just like singing and it's like oh my goodness, just like do something. This is action. This is the part that's supposed to be action right before the climax. But
that's true because they do kind of slow it down. They
slowed it down a lot
right before really intense.
And then the climax is awesome. And actually the climax is the best part of the movie, which is I guess really what it should be. But they did an amazing job. But on that part, it's kind of weird flow. On that.
And well, in the whole movie, kind of, there's just these really slow and then fast and slow and fast. And so it kind of feels drawn out. It felt like a really long movie.
It did feel like
it felt like I was sitting there forever. And I think because of that timing, because they had these slow, fast-paced intervals.
Yeah. Yeah. But we were touched by the end.
And we watched it on VidAngel, like we said. So it's as far as there's a lot of language in this. It's not a ton of violent scenes, but there is some violence that we clipped out and didn't watch. And so it was entertaining because we didn't have to deal with any of that.
That's one thing. They do show a lot of the horrors of the war, and we clipped out quite a bit because we were watching it with our families. But you can pull out a lot of the disturbing images of like corpses and because there's some pretty grotesque sounding images in there. And then they did a great job. Like even though you can see a little bit because it is one continuous shot, you can see some of the clipping, but it still was pretty smooth.
It's like, super smooth. Yeah, it was incredible.
Yes. Sorry.
As far as a rating on this one, I think I would give this one a 1 to maybe 1.5 because I think as far as an action war movie, this is really good. And just visually, again, to watch that, it was absolutely an awesome experience. I think if you can watch this one, you should.
Yeah, that's time. I think I was leaning more towards a 1 just because I feel like it's a good one-time watch. It's not one of those ones like, yeah, go buy it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you watch it. I think you'll appreciate the skill and effort that they put into the movie, but it's not such a great story that...
Yeah, it's not a great in-depth drama or anything. It's just, wow, that was cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that again.
Ever good.
So I think for as far as the age, this is a pretty intense movie, even with the filtered movie.
I'd say
this is probably 16 plus. It's really intense.
Or a mature 8-year-old.
Yeah. Well, mature 8 or 16 plus.
Yeah, just in that range.
Thanks for watching. We hope this was helpful for you. And we hope that you can leave a comment below what you thought of the movie. Like and subscribe if this was beneficial for you. We have a bunch more videos coming.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be doing a lot more reviews that are hilarious and awesome and Ruby. And so we will see you at the next movie.
Yeah. And we are not endorsed by VidAngel.
Nope, unfortunately.